Okay, what I want to do today is just show you guys a little bit about how to catch a horse in a yard that may be a little evasive about being caught. I'd like to just say a few things about that first. I guess first of all, we want to make sure that we have a yard that's suitable for the horse. We don't want the horse to jump out or get worried. Some of them are very sensitive about it. Others are just evasive, but he's been in this yard a couple of days. It's electric fences, and he's, it's got standoffs. As you can see, a sheep mesh here, but with standoffs, it shouldn't be an issue. What we want to do is just make sure that the area we're working in is safe. Now, you hear all sorts of advice to people, that you can do join up out in large areas, things like that, and that really doesn't work in most cases. If your horse has got a big area to run around in and he doesn't want to be near you, you might get it with a horse that's just been a bit lazy and get sick of running around. But with a chronic, hard to catch horse, you're not going to catch it out in a large area very easily, and often you'll make the problem worse. So if you've got to set a yard up, set up an electric fence yard, whatever, keep the horse in there, feed him in there for a couple of days and teach him to face up and get caught in a small area first, and then move to an arena or something, a bigger area. But being caught, it's not something that just happens. It's like everything we need our horse to learn to do, it's got to be taught. So, really, for a horse to be caught in a yard, he needs to be taught that this is how we do it, this is what you do, this is what's acceptable, this is what's not acceptable. So let's make a start, and we'll see where we're at with this fella. He may not be as chronic as he was this morning. This is the second time I've filmed this, messing around with a new bit of equipment, but often it can take a few days of regular catching like this before your horse is okay with it. If he's got a habit of just turning his bum in, you can see how interested he is in me. I've seen people use food and they do the whole come on, and I've seen horses that are that cagey about it, that cunning about it, that they can get the food off the person without ever getting that rope around their neck. So let's have a go at this and see how we can get things to work with this horse. So I'll walk in his yard, we'll see how he reacts. Don't sneak, you're not trying to sneak up on your horse. Don't sneak, walk straight to the centre of the yard. He's got his bum to me, I'm going to put a little pressure on him. As you can see here, he's a little worried about that, round he goes. I'm not going to put too much pressure on him when he's running around. I don't want this horse going 1,000 miles an hour and hurting himself, but I'll use as much as I need to keep him walking. With this horse it's easy, I've only got to look at him, and then I might ask him to face up to me. I'm going to put some pressure on behind there. He didn't come round and face me. He did look at me, and I gave him a reward for that. I sort of backed off a little. We'll put him up here in the corner. He's turned away, we'll put some pressure on. He's looking at me. I'm going to get right back here out of the way. Let's walk up again, and I'll walk up to him. Okay, he's not interested. Pressure on again. We'll get him moving a little. As I said, you might want a smaller yard if you've got a really reactive horse that's just going to run on you. He's not looking at me. I'm going to step up. Little pressure, we'll go around the other way. I don't mind which way we go. I'm not trying to teach him anything except you face me. When you face me, I'll leave you alone. Here we go. So he's getting that fairly quickly. As I said, it's not the first time I've done it today. And this is something you might have to do regularly for a few days before it becomes habit and you can just walk in that yard. I'm going to give him a rub his neck. I'm going to walk off and leave him alone. I don't want this horse to be worried about me approaching him, so I need to work on that first. It's like everything we do, it's made up of little things. He's a little bit skittish there, I'll walk off. He stayed with me, I'm happy with that. Oh, hello, mate. You know, we'll move around here a little. If he can stay facing me, that's great. You know, if he'll do that, that's ideal. If not, we just go back to step one. Put the pressure on. Very windy here today. There you go, he's not with me. I'll put a bit of pressure on, ask him to come. If he faces me, I'll back off a little and say, hey, that was cool. And then I'm going to walk up, and as I said, I'm not going to sneak. I'm not going to run up and stick my hand on his face either. You know, when I get there, I'm going to do something, you know, like people say, oh, you guys don't use positive reinforcement. Well, most horses like a bit of a scratch. That's probably the best reward you can give a horse without food, is to keep the pressure off and give him a scratch. I'll walk up, if he stands there, I'll give him a scratch. That's positive reinforcement at work. And, you know, I believe you can use positive reinforcement without using food rewards. Food rewards often create problems as much as they fix them. You know, people say, oh yeah, if you do it properly it won't. Well, you know, often horses go to kids, people like that, who don't do it properly. You know, the horse can become a little pushy, evasive. I think every kid should learn to do this sort of thing, you know. Teach that horse that you face me, you look at me. We'll go around here, we'll do our walk around again, see where he's at. That's pretty cool right there. Notice I'm not sneaking. I'm walking in an authoritative sort of manner. He's still with me there, he's a little off. Okay, we're going to send him. He's sort of getting a bit far away. We'll send him again. He didn't face up. I'm going to ask him to go again. Not very much. You know, I don't want him running from me flat out in a frightened sort of way. Yeah, he's facing me. He didn't go the way I wanted, you know, and I think this guy's cool enough that I can probably work on that and get him to come the way I want. I'll ask him if he can face up. He'll come around that feed bin there. He's not facing me. I'll put a little pressure on. I'm focusing behind him, focusing on his backside rather than on his head. You know, you see people, that's the bit I want to go away from. I want his head to come towards me. If I focus on his head, he's going to keep that away from me. So, you know, be aware of where you focus on your horse. There we go, give him a rub. That's pretty cool. I think I can get rid of the flag now. Put it out here somewhere where it won't get stepped on and broken like my last one. Okay, I'm going to walk up to him. He's still with me. Fantastic. I might do that circle again. I'll walk around here. There, he's turned away. Just use your halter and lead rope, you know. Good. So I don't want him rushy. That nice floaty little trot. That's perfect. Let's see if he'll come with me this time. You keep facing me, you're in charge. So I'm giving him the opportunity all the time to do something that's going to get me to take the pressure off him. Notice where I'm focusing now. I'm not looking straight at him. I'm not trying to drive his hind end away. I want him to do it. I don't want to make him do it. I don't want to micromanage him. Okay, catching our horses. I think it's a good idea most times with these ones to just reach under their neck and pop that lead rope around there like that. Take hold of him, you know. I might walk him a step or two, see where he's at, see if he'll stay with me here. If he brings his shoulder towards me, I'll just get a little bigger, lift my hand, block his face a little, say, hey, don't you bring your shoulder at me, you're supposed to be yielding your hind end. Good, good, you know, that's pretty cool right there. Step him up, good. We'll take this off him and we'll do it again. We're teaching him. So we're going to be consistent and we're going to do it a few times. Not too much in one session, but enough that he learns. If we give him more opportunity to learn, he's going to get better at things. Okay, I'm going to walk up to him, give him a rub, put the rope around his neck. There we go. Well, you know, I'm flinging that lead rope around. He's a little worried about it. I don't mind. I'll just fling that around. We can sort that out in his groundwork, but I want him to deal with me, you know, untangling ropes and messing with things and not being organised. I'm going to bend his head towards me a little here. There. As soon as he does that, I'll rub him, ask again. I'll try and get him to where you guys can see it in the camera. Good. So just bringing his head around towards me a little. Good. When your horse has got a bend in him here, he's more relaxed. See, he dipped his nose down then and he's just chilled out. Rub his head. Make sure he's okay with everything I want to do next. Bring that over there. Bring that over there, you know. We might do some work and teach this guy how to put his head down a bit more later on. Pop the lead rope on. I'm going to bring his head round. He moved it. You know, take your time, get it right. Don't just sneak the halter on and say, oh, I got you. You know, that's not productive. I want to get that lead rope off over his head so that he's on the right side with me. I'll just rub over his ears, you never know, like, rather than just drag it off over there, get him to throw his head up and worry. Okay, first thing I do is I pick him up, test him. He's leading okay. I can back him off the halter a little if I want to. You know, I'm not going to get after him shaking ropes and things, but I would like him to just be respectful enough to back out of my space. I'll ask him to turn. Don't you bring that shoulder at me, good. Ask him to bring his front end over. Ask him to stay forward there, good. Ask him to turn or yield his hind end. I'll pick that hand up for that. Don't you bring your shoulder in at me, and I'll look where my leg would be if I was riding. Get him to yield that hind end. Pick him up, good. So that's about it. Like I said, practice it. Do it on a regular basis until your horse is okay with facing up and getting caught, and move to a bit bigger area. So if you've got to go and work some horse somewhere, you know, you don't always have the facilities or the time to take them in a round yard and teach them all this. So, you know, they've got to be caught the first time somehow. And that's how I go about it. It's no different in a stable or a smaller area. I'm not going to step into that defensive zone on that horse and try and sneak up beside him and get my halter on. I'm going to teach him to face me and accept it until I can just walk up to him anywhere I like. Make sure you do it both sides. There we go. Good. Rub him. Rub him. Okay. Thank you. We're going to turn this off now.